Hi everybody, this is Suzanne Spooner. You probably know me best as a QHHT Level 3 practitioner. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you probably have listened to maybe one of my QHHT session segments. A lot of them, I hope. So this is the COVID quarantine experience, right? And as I'm sitting at home all day, every day, it made me start thinking about what I can do to help share. I think that my life purpose is to help show people that all answers lie within. All knowledge is accessible within each of us. We all hold it. And that's what I loved about Dolores Cannon and QHHT, was that it wasn't anybody coming to me for answers or for healing. It was just me guiding them to find their own answers in healing. And I thought that was a very empowering experience. And why that resonated with me so much was about 4 years prior to me finding Dolores. Back in 2008, 2009, I had my own very wild experience where I started using some teaching that I was honing at the time. It was called spiritual response therapy. It used the tools of a pendulum and charts to clear energy, things like that. Find answers about people's lives. I was practicing that. I was a brand new student of it. And one day while I was practicing, an event happened, we'll call it that. And the end result of that, so to speak, was that I learned how to channel. And as I was channeling and trying to wrap my head around what I had just figured out, and having these great connections with my loved ones that had passed over and others, it was shared with me in one of my messages that I was to be teaching this to people, which at that time I thought was really funny because I had no idea how I was doing it myself. It took some time going back and forth with messages and ideas with my teachers on the other side to really figure out a process that would make this a teachable event, how to channel. Now, the process is called the Art of Universal Knowing, or the acronym is TAUK, TAUK, which I kind of like because you're talking, right? You're talking to the other side. So I created this class. I had some really great friends who were willing to try it to see if it worked for them. Didn't know if it would or not, but lo and behold, it did. Oh my gosh, it was an amazing time when I saw that happen. So I was teaching it one-on-one with people, and my messages were telling me that this needed to be a bigger experience. I needed to reach more people. And back in 2008, it was kind of when online classes were really getting going, and I thought, well, I wonder if I could do that. And so my guides and my teachers went back to work with me and showed me how I could do this as an online experience. In 2009, I believe it was, maybe 2010, is when the actual online class became available. And it's been, as it was then, clear up until today. Needs a little updating, actually. But anyways, so people have been doing this all over the world for all these years. It tends to work pretty easily. The emails that I get back with the students' messages are just heart expanding. They're so excited. There's an infinite amount of contact that you can make. The most probably expected would be your loved ones, angels, guides, God, and that's fabulous. But really, this is an infinite experience. And I want you to know that you are completely capable of tapping in and going within and receiving these messages yourself. And they are love-based messages. They are kind, they are helpful, they are funny. They are not anything to be worried about, nothing fear-based here at all. And I'm going to explain that in just a bit. So anyways, I was looking in my heart to figure out how I could do this during this sabbatical time for all of us, so that you could tap in and receive messages, because, oh my gosh, what else do we got going on? Not a lot. So I revamped the online class to make this a little bit more simple. And truly, you know, back when I designed that class years ago, 11 years ago now at least, our frequencies and our energies were different then, right? We've expanded. We're a bigger, better version of ourselves, I hope. And so the process has shifted. And I was debating about just redoing the whole website and the class and all that, but I want you guys to have this as a gift from me to you. This is a free class I'm going to be offering. So here is the scoop. I'm going to give you the information today that will help you get prepared for the class. The class is going to be offered through Zoom this Thursday, March 26th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. This Thursday, March 26th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be offered through a link on Zoom. If you go down in the descriptions, the links are going to be there for you. And if you're viewing this clip after that date, we will be getting the clip back up onto my YouTube. So you're going to have this introduction, and then you're going to have the actual class that I'm going to teach on Thursday, the 26th of March. So hopefully that will work. I am not good with technology. If any of you know me, you know this. So I'm doing my best. This is going to be a little rough. I have a very, very kind friend on Facebook who's going to help manage the Zoom broadcast and then help me get it over to YouTube. So we want to say a huge thank you to Joe for helping me out there, because there is no way I would be able to figure that one out. Just not my deal. Okay, so you want to talk. You want to connect into maybe your younger self, maybe you in a future life, maybe you in a past life, maybe your high self, maybe God or ETs. Everything is possible. I've talked to the essence of water. I've talked to teachers from other dimensions. Oh my gosh, it's endless. Everything is possible with this. So here are the things that you can do to prepare for this class. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm using the tools of a pendulum and a chart. Those are just the tools that make this more teachable, easier. It's the same, surely it's the same as teaching somebody how to do automatic writing. I found though that when you're trying to teach somebody how to do automatic writing, the worry from the left side of the brain creeps in and kind of tries to cut that short. But when you're using the tools of a pendulum over a chart, you'll see that the pendulum is moving letter to letter very deliberately. And you'll know that because you're holding the pendulum, that you're not shifting it and moving it to each letter. And the words and the thoughts are just coming differently it's coming through you, not from you. Does that make sense? Okay, we'll go over this all in class. But so here's what I have always recommended. And this isn't going to be possible for lots of you that are in quarantine, but the pendulum that I have always recommended is a rose quartz pendulum. So the stone here is rose quartz. This one has a bit of a point on the end of it there, which I like because it kind of points to the letter. It makes it easy to see. That works really great. If you happen to have one, that's awesome. If you have a different type of pendulum with a different stone, we're going to say that's okay. Way back in the day, when I was developing the class, my teachers told me that rose quartz was the best crystal to use with this work because of its frequency. The frequency of rose quartz is very much attuned to the heart and to the third eye, which is really helpful in this class. So that's why it was recommended. But my teachers, I've checked in with them in the last day, and they say just use what you need to use. So if you have a different type of pendulum, go for it. I think you're going to be just fine. If you don't have a pendulum, which is going to be a lot of you, I've been experimenting this morning with using a few different things. I got a chain from one of my necklaces and I put one of my rings on it. It worked perfect. Just a little bit of weight down at the bottom is nice. I did try using this little blue lapis pendant. which I love a lot, but it's a little bit wide, and I can see what letter it's guiding to. It's a little bit easier if it's a little bit smaller, a little bit more narrow. I happen to have a wonderful necklace by my friend 16, and this is a necklace, but look, it's like a pendulum down there on the bottom. So that would work really fine too. Just want a little bit of weight on the bottom. Gosh, you could try it with a string and something weighted to it. But if you have like a necklace, maybe that metal is really good. If you have a ring that you wear that has your energy on it, might be a little bit helpful. But this ring that I pulled out has been in my jewelry box for months. I haven't been wearing it and it worked just fine. So you need to have some type of a pendulum. That's your tool. Then I use a chart that I designed back at the very beginning of this understanding coming through me. I'm going to show you what my chart looks like. It's a big circle. It has a smaller circle there in the center, and this chart has 28 pies. So 26 for each letter and then 2 extra. That is not necessary. If I were going to redo it today, I would just do the 26. So you do whatever you want. The really good thing though is to have a bit of a center right there. And I'll explain that in the class, why that is helpful. So that's maybe, I don't know, maybe an inch in circumference there. All right. This is what a chart looks like that doesn't have the lettering on it. So just a plain TAUK chart. You can order this off my website, but I'm not sending charts or pendulums out while we're going through this sabbatical. So you can just look at this, and the important thing is to have 26 little segments here, like that. Now this piece of paper is a little bit bigger than your average paper. So I'm gonna set just an average normal piece of like printer paper there, and it's just a little bit smaller on each side. I found making it a little bit bigger is a little bit more helpful, especially as you're learning, so that you can more easily see the letter that the pendulum is pointing towards. So you need to draw up a chart, print it up, however skilled you are at doing that. I have used, when I was brand new starting out and trying to figure out how to do this, I put a mixing bowl down on a piece of paper, drew the circle that way, and then got a ruler and did the lines that way. So be creative, but that's what you want to do. Just have a blank chart, or you can go ahead and from A to Z go around the circle putting the letters. Okay, so you got that. You can start working on a few directions with your pendulum. These are going to be handy and necessary in the class. So I recommend that you do that before we start the class, so you've got that one down. So I'm going to hold this up, and you can stop it to take a look here. Okay, so this is the sheet that I send out to people that order the class, or a pendulum or a chart. So you're going to be finding out your yes and no direction for TAUK. The yes or no is either going to be up and down or side to side. Then you're going to have a clearing direction and a downloading direction. It is going to be either clockwise or counterclockwise. Now that can be different for each of us. My clearing direction is counterclockwise. My downloading direction is clockwise. My yes is side to side, and my no is up and down. Most people are opposite of that. So however it is for you. But if you can take your pendulum or your, whatever you're using for a pendulum, and just hold it in your hands. This pendulum is just a tool. It's picking up the energy off of you. We all have energy, so it works for anybody. And I'm just going to ask my pendulum to please move in my yes direction. So I'm not moving it with my hand, I promise. And it's moving back and forth. I'm going to say thank you, that stops. I'm going to ask it to move in my no direction, and it's front and back. All right. Same thing with clearing, same thing with downloading. You just ask which one it is, then those are going to be your set directions for the class. So you can get working on that and find your directions. We will go over this in the class, So the class is going to be, again, Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time through Zoom. The link is down below. I'm also going to be putting that link out on Facebook, probably on Instagram as well. You can sign up for that class. You can do it with me live. I'd love to see you there. And we'll work through everything. So by the end of the class, it should take about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to try to keep it really simple. Then you can be off and running and tapping in and receiving some of your own messages through the Art of Universal Knowing. Again, this is my gift to you. I really appreciate how challenging it is in this rebirthing, I believe, that we're going through right now. And this is what we've waited for, unexpectedly, a global pandemic. But I can see some pretty magnificent opportunities through that, right? Because we get to sit and talk and teach each other new things and expand our awareness and connections. So I hope to see you Thursday, March 26th, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If that doesn't work for your schedule, do not worry. We will get it posted up on YouTube so that you can go through at your own convenience and time and take advantage of this fun experience of getting your own channeled messages. All right, you all take good care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.